The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
We had a verbal agreement.
So why'd you say no?
I thought you asked me if I got paid yet.
That wasn't what I asked you.
I'm sorry.
I said according to you had an agreement. Did that happen? And you said no. And then I gave you a look like I was going to skewer you, and then you said yes. You folded like a cheap suit, and all I had to do was change my eyebrows.
This is the plaintiff, Roy Carlson. He says he hired the defendant to repair his roof, and the guy started the job, then disappeared. He doesn't know what the defendant's trying to pull, but he's not going to just walk away and let him get away with out-and-out stealing his money. That's for sure. Bottom line, he had to hire another company to complete the work. Is out $4,592.75 and is suing for exactly that amount today. This is the defendant, Kenneth Dubner. He says the plaintiff's wife abused his men, screamed at them in an uncontrollable rage, and he was fired from the job. He was ready, willing, and able to complete the work he was hired to do. Is an honest guy and simply put deserves to keep the money he was paid. He is accused of running out on a roof.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Carlson, you are suing your former roofer, Mr. Dubner, for $4,592.75 that you say he owes you in damages because he negligently started and didn't finish your roof.
Right.
Tell me what's going on.
I had met him late January. We got to talk, and it was a gas station. We're down there getting coffee. And
You just met him by coincidence in a...
yeah, my daughter works in the gas station.
Okay.
And I went down there. It was a couple of days she started. I went down for coffee, and I had met him. We started talking. He had mentioned he was a general contractor, and I was looking to get my roof done.
Okay, now this is the roof of your home?
It's a garage. It's a detached garage, two-car
Of
garage.
a detached garage,
Right.
okay. And so do you settle upon a price?
The estimate he originally gave me was about $2,400.
And then?
And then I said, I don't want to do it because it's a little high, more than what. So he worked with me on it, and we got it down to $1,650.
So $1,650 was the price for him to do what?
To remove all the shingles, clean up, repair any rotted wood, and shingle and complete the job.
Okay, now are you in agreement that that was your agreement with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go on.
I gave him $1,150 cash. He was I thought he was going to do it that Saturday
Why did you think he was going to do that Saturday?
because that's what he told me he was going to do.
Okay, so he told you he was going to do it that Saturday, and what happened?
Then there's a problem with a car. Then Sunday he had something to do with his daughter. Then Monday he was sick. Then Tuesday was something in his eye. My wife's got a liver disorder. She's on medication. He had come over Tuesday after I had texted him not to do it because I was getting fed up with the delays. I wanted to be home. I had another contractor come over when I first purchased the house.
Wait, what were the delays? You mean Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
Oh, there was more delays. This went on. Tuesday, he had sent somebody over on the 2nd. He dropped them off like usual. Anybody that comes over, he drops off, takes off, sends 2 guys up on the roof while my wife's inside. It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon or so, and starts ripping the roof off.
Oh, okay. So they came on Tuesday and they started ripping the roof off. Okay.
Right, and it didn't get done with any kind of repair and left a mess.
Okay, so let me hear from you. What's going on?
Basically, I agree. We did come upon an agreement to do the job.
Right, and then you're up on the roof, and then you rip the stuff out. He says you guys left debris everywhere.
Okay. The day that we started the job, I brought a couple of guys. We ripped the shingle off the roof. They repaired any rotten pieces of wood were repaired. It got dark that evening, so they put the roofing paper up on the roof. The next day it rained, so there was really nothing.
Wait, did they put a tarp?
No, well, it was waterproof roofing paper. It was 90-pound underlayment. It wasn't even regular tar paper. It was actually.
So there's no need to put a tarp?
No need to put a tarp. The plaintiff is claiming that he got water in the garage.
Yeah, I'm about to go get them.
And that's fine. But I'm not even contesting the fact that the job wasn't finished.
Well, why wasn't the job finished?
Well, they made it impossible for me to finish the job.
Why?
Came back with a couple of guys to do the cleanup. 2 days later, I dropped off the guys to clean up. They told me they needed a couple of rakes because there was stuff all over the place. I ran back to my house to get rakes. I get back, and they're gone. Can't figure out what happened, so I call my guy on the phone. I'm like, where'd you go? He's like, I don't want to really badmouth it, but his wife came out and started screaming and ranting at the guys. So I contacted Roy, and I told him, look, I'll be back tomorrow, but you got to keep your wife away from us.
Okay, but what, screaming and ranting what?
I wasn't there. All I know what my guy said.
What did your guys say?
She came out and she was screaming and cursing and whatever. Just
that
going
they
nuts.
shouldn't be there?
No, just yelling about whatever.
But no, what's the whatever?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, and then how did your employees who had no wheels, because you dropped them off.
She drove them back.
And you're telling me that you don't know what was said?
No.
She was in a car ride with them and nobody talked to you about what was said?
No. At that point, I called Roy and I told him, look, we're going to come back.
According to you, she was intoxicated. Is that correct?
To me, she seemed pretty drunk.
How did you, wait.
Well, the first time that I met her, that I saw her, when I got there with my guy, she comes out and starts yelling at me about not buying her truck. Because I had made a comment to Roy that, oh, you know, if you don't like the truck, maybe I'll buy it from you. And starts yelling at me.
I'm sorry, are you referring to a different day?
No, I'm talking about the same day that I brought my guys to
The same day that she took your employees to the next job?
Didn't take them to the next job. She drove the guy back.
Back where?
Away from her property, back to Middletown.
And then what, dropped them off in the street?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, now, according to you, they don't come back in how much time?
Yeah, they didn't come back until the 5th.
Okay, so it's 3 days later they come back?
Yes.
Okay. And then they come back, and what is the reason you fired them and told them don't come back anymore?
I didn't tell them to come back. What he's talking about is the day after the rain, on the 4th. After the rain, everything was soaked. He told me he's not going to show up. Then...
Well, let's rewind. When did things get soaked?
The 3rd.
Right, the day after they did the job?
Yeah, because everything he put on, he stapled it on the roof, and it blew off, and I got planks on the garage.
Do you have pictures of what you're describing?
Yes, I have pictures.
Let me see the pictures. Good God.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, does this contractor have the right to finish the job?
Was there any written contract?
Yeah, I mean, there's a deal, but it says, I'm going to hire you to do the work, and the guy leaves because he's fired.
I would say no, he does not have the right. No.
What do you say?
Not right. Can't keep the money.
Really? Why?
Did he do any work?
He did some work.
Well, then, you know, a little bit of money.
But does he get to keep all of it? He says, I'm really willing to finish the job.
Yeah, I would say he should keep the money just because they told him that he's going to get the money, so yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
What is that?
That's the mess they left.
Oh, that's the mess. That's
I couldn't
not
even
what
get
blew
into
off.
my gate.
Okay.
My gate only opened a foot and a half to get into my house. That's the way it was left for 4 days. That's why my wife went outside yelling and screaming.
This is what? Something that's covered in plastic?
Yes,
that the
that's
water
the inside of the garage, yes. That's
okay,
a
what is
puddle.
that item? Was it previous?
It's just a box in the garage. I just covered everything because I knew it was going to rain.
Okay, so you had covered things before the rain.
Right.
This is a picture of the stuff having blown off.
Yes.
When, according to you, does he tell you, you know, don't bother?
He texted me, don't come back, don't do that, I'm going to get somebody else. And we actually I came to his house, and I came to an agreement at the end. I'll give him $900 back. We shook hands on it. I said, I need a little bit of time. 2 days later, he's like, where's my money? I said, I told you I need a little time. He's like, I'll see you in court.
Okay, stop.
That's it.
You have been paid how much up to that point?
$11.50.
You're going to pay back $900 of the $11.50?
Correct.
Okay, did that happen?
Nope.
Oh, God.
We had a verbal agreement.
So why'd you say no?
I thought you asked me if I got paid yet.
That wasn't what I asked you.
I'm
I
sorry.
said, according to you, you had an agreement. Did that happen? And you said no. And then I gave you a look like I was going to skewer you, and then you said yes. You folded like a cheap suit, and all I had to do was change my eyebrows.
I was just confused, that's all.
Were you? Okay, so you had an agreement to do that, and what happened?
Well, he told me to give him a couple days. So I gave him a couple days. I talked to him on Sunday. Wednesday came, and I asked him if he had any money. I mean, he didn't buy anything with the $1,150 that I gave him.
Right.
So where's my money?
He paid his bills. So you end up, how is it that you get the job done on this roof?
I called my insurance company, and my insurance company gave me a number of somebody to use.
Did you make a claim?
No, I did not.
Are you gonna?
No.
Okay, you hired that company and you paid that company?
Yes.
Okay, may I see the receipt from them?
It's getting so twisted.
And they also took pictures of before and after the roof.
Tell me about, how did the water get through if the thing was waterproof?
I couldn't tell you because I wasn't back there into the
I know, but maybe you
garage.
should have been if you're contracting.
The honest truth is that we started the job. We had some bad weather the next day. I had a problem with my car. I know this is all cliche with contractors. I never planned on running away with $1,100.
But it's kind of what you did,
I called the guy
though.
every day to tell him, hey, he knew I had a problem with the car. He knew I was coming back. He went upon himself to do it. And when I saw that he did that, I didn't want, look, I wasn't looking to beat him. I came to him, I said, you need to get money back. I came to him and said, I want to give you money back.
Okay, but here's you and your nice suit and your smile and your good intentions. He cannot deposit them anywhere. So what actually happened is you took $1,150, you sent 2 guys to go there, you say you put water, I don't need to put a tarp because it's waterproof. It's not waterproof because water gets in there. The thing blows off, so it's not done correctly, and he has to hire. And when he says to you, okay, we'll take your deal. I'll give you a couple of days. Then it's, well, it shouldn't have been a couple of days. It should have been a couple of weeks. Well, it's been a couple of weeks.
I never said a couple of days.
It's been a couple of weeks. By the way, have you paid the $900? Because it's been more than a couple of weeks by the time it comes to court.
When he tells me he's going to court, I'm not going to.
He would have dropped the case if you gave him the $900 that you guys agreed on, right?
I also got a background check.
Tell me about the background check.
Well, I have a friend of mine who's a private investigator. He's a retired New York City police officer. And he offered to do me a background check.
And what?
And I got it. And apparently he has a history of doing this.
A criminal history of doing this?
I guess there's eight or 9 judgments against him. He's got 10 or 12.
Civil judgments.
Yeah.
Let me see. Do you have 8 or 9 judgments against you?
I certainly do.
For what? For not paying people what? Or for jobs?
For jobs.
Wow.
Look, it doesn't matter what I say because it wasn't right every time, but there were situations. Look at the years that it happened.
Tell me what you're out. The cost to get the roof redone, did you finally bring forward
I'm not looking for the $2,400 for the roof that I paid.
You can't get everything you paid him plus everything you paid the other guy. That's not going to happen.
Right, I'm just looking for my damages.
What is it you are wanting to sue for then?
Well, I rented a heater to dry out my garage, and that was, I tried it for 1 day, and I needed it for 5, so I ended up buying it.
Okay.
To dry everything out.
To dry out in case of...
I got thousands of dollars in tools in the garage. I mean, everything is...
All right, here's what's going to happen, because it's obvious that the job was done extremely poorly, because just a little rain the next day ended up ripping everything out. It's obvious that there should have been a tarp put there, because if there had been a tarp put there, then the rain wouldn't have affected what was inside, causing you to spend all that money on the heater stuff. So I am going to order that the defendant pay you not the amount you're suing for, because you recognize that that was overreaching. So I'm going to deduct the cost of the new roof of $2,400 and the remaining $2,192.75, because you wouldn't have had to purchase a heater if it weren't for him, and you wouldn't have had to go through all of the stress that you've had to go through if it weren't for him. So I'm going to award you every penny of the remainder of that, $2,192.75. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails for more than $2,000. Mr. Dubner, the defendant, has just come out of the courtroom. This wasn't a good day for you in court, was it?
Actually, I didn't get a chance to talk. I never disputed the fact that I didn't finish the job. I was willing to give the guy back money. This was completely twisted.
Yeah, but you didn't give it back to him. You still haven't given it back to him.
Took me to court. So he wants to take me to court.
Yep.
I came to court.
Here you are.
It's fine.
Your past record. Apparently, you have a string of incidents like this.
It's all good. I love everybody.
Oh, you
take care.
He loves everybody. Very good. All right, Mr. Carlson. I don't think he loves you, though.
No.
He brought you to court. How do you feel about this? You satisfied?
Yeah.
I mean, it's over now. The roof done?
Yeah.
Your wife happy?
Yes.
You happy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Officer McIntosh has some documents for you to sign. Harvey, how about that?
You know, Doug, if the contractor is really abused by the homeowner and literally cannot finish the job because of the abuse, contractor there keeps the money. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This is the plaintiff, Susan Graves. She says she hired the defendant, a photographer, to take photos of her allergy-friendly baked products and allows botched the job. The food looked like he let it get spoiled. He didn't listen to her explicit instructions about keeping it frozen until he shot it. And she's here in the name of the law, suing for the $772.91 she is owed. This is the defendant, Pietro Carmadella. He says he's been in the photography business for 30 years, and he doesn't owe the plaintiff a penny because she failed to communicate with him about exactly what she wanted. He's willing to correct any problems she may have. He's here defending his good reputation and feels the judge will agree. He's accused of burning up a baker. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $450, the balance he's still owed for his services.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff hired the defendant to take pictures of her allergy-friendly bakery stuff, but did a lousy job. But the defendant says she was vague about what she wanted, so tough. It's the case of your food's nothing to sneeze at.
Thank you, Douglas. Susan Graves and Susie Yu?
Yui.
Susie Yui.
Yes.
That's cute. LLC.
My
You're
nickname.
suing Pietro Carmadella and Art Photo by Pietro for $772.91 that you feel you are out as a result of him breaching a contract to photograph appropriately your items. He is counterclaiming against you $450 for his services. Okay, what's going on?
All right. Well, I was referred to Pietro by a mutual acquaintance. I was looking to...
Is this somebody who had used him?
Yes, it
and was happy with him? Okay.
Yes. So he was hoping that I would move my business to Norwich, and I was looking at doing that, and he said, well, you need better pictures for the website and for a brochure and different advertising. And he said, you must use Pietro. He's fantastic. He's very talented.
Okay.
So he got the ball rolling, and he introduced us.
All right. And then you enter into a contract with Pietro to photograph some of your food items for your website and brochures.
Yes.
All right. And you're supposed to pay him how much in order to do that?
$300 plus he could keep all the products.
Okay. So now you bring him how many products?
I brought him...
Is there a written contract between you two? Are there emails?
Lots of emails.
Okay.
50.
Hand me all the emails. Okay. And so did you give him any instructions about how you wanted the stuff photographed?
I did.
What did you say to him?
Well, I told him that half of it was frozen and it needed to stay frozen so it would look fresh when he photographed it.
Okay.
And he did give me a discounted rate, so I told him that he could squeeze me in between other jobs at his leisure.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I didn't set a date to have it completed.
Right.
But I did ask him to be sure that the food was kept in good condition for the
So
photographs.
some of the food was on a shelf and some of the food was frozen.
Exactly.
Did you keep it that way?
No, ma'am. When she came, it was very brief, not even 5 minutes. She stopped at the studio, dropped off everything in boxes. We opened it up. She showed me some things. No specific instruction was given, nor...
Okay, but some of these things were like cheesecakes, right?
Yes, but she didn't say...
What did you do with the big... And it took you how many months to take the pictures?
No, just a couple of weeks, but she didn't give me...
I know, but what do you think is going to happen to a cheesecake in a couple of weeks? It's dairy. I mean...
She didn't say this has to be frozen. She didn't say
But
this
did you
has to be...
refrigerate it? What'd you do with it? You just put it on a shelf?
There were no instruction to say
I understand, but you're a grown man and you know, even if someone's taken care of you your whole life, you do know that some food is perishable, right? That's
Yes.
common knowledge.
Yes.
All right? And so
there's an area in the studio that I don't use. It's cold. It's
just chilly there?
Yes,
I mean, it's not refrigerated,
it's not
right? You didn't refrigerate.
It's
All right.
not refrigerated because I wasn't asked to be put in a refrigerator. I was
Again,
not-
though, you are a grown man
Yes.
who has lived life,
Yes.
and you do know that food can be perishable, right? You're not a child.
Yes.
All right. Now, do you have any proof that you gave him instructions on how to store the stuff?
I did have ice packs on top of the frozen food, and I took the ice packs with me, so...
And what? Don't. And what? You
And I
got there
told
and did
him,
what?
please keep these frozen
Okay.
until you're going to...
So
And
did
he
you
was
take-
worried about the lighting. He said the lights get very hot.
So did you take the ice packs and the coolers back with you?
Yes, I did.
Did he ever see the ice packs and the coolers?
Yes.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually,
Wait
it was a
second.
box.
Wait a second.
I apologize.
Go ahead. What?
It wasn't a cooler, it was a box, but I
A
had
box.
ice packs all packed around the products.
Did he see them?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you say there's 50 emails. Are there any emails about instructions on the food?
No.
All right. So now you get the first proofs, and what do you don't like them? What don't you like?
Well, the first thing that caught my eye was the food looked spoiled.
Okay. You're going to show me the proofs and show me how it looks spoiled.
Okay.
Because, you know, I might not eat it, but it still may have the same color.
So that's the key lime pie, and I brought these products with me also, if you want to see them live.
Like what they're supposed to look like, I guess?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And I brought pictures of what I ended up
Okay,
taking.
now, if this has not been frozen or refrigerated, well, in 2-3 weeks, frozen, I might not want to eat it, right? But what's wrong in the picture? It looks perfectly fresh in the picture.
If you look at the key lime pies, the crust is all separated and falling away from the filling. I might have a closer picture.
No, I see what you're saying. I wouldn't have seen it if you hadn't told me, though. I mean, I'm not sure. All right, so what happens? You, let me see how that's supposed to look.
Okay.
All this stuff is gluten-free? Is that the deal?
Gluten-free and nut-free.
Gluten and nut-free.
Soy and corn-free.
Soy
Free
and
of everything
corn-free.
but dairy
Is it
and eggs.
taste-free, or does it taste good?
You can have those.
Oh, good. Yeah. There's a little bit of a difference in how the crust looks. I see what you're saying.
And here's my picture and what I ended up using for the brochure.
Okay, but are these the only proofs he sent you? Or did he send you other proofs?
He sent me other ones. I have ones of the brownie.
These are the ones that you took yourself?
Yes, with my iPhone.
May I say something?
Yep.
These were just to get acquainted with what she wants me to do, because she wasn't there. We were communicating via email.
Okay.
And I didn't want to open the packages until she okayed it.
Okay, hold on one second. Which ones did you take? Which ones did he take?
I took the ones on your left.
This is the one you took?
Yes.
All right. So he took these and you took these. I mean, the lighting's better on the chocolate, definitely.
Well, the chocolate has gone off on...
Oh, these are still in the wrapper, that's why. The lighting's better on the chocolate in the ones that you took out of the wrapper.
Yes.
All right, now, according to you, she reaches, when you send her this, she says what? I want the background white. Does she say anything else?
I don't remember.
Okay,
But
do you have the emails or no?
At some point, she said that she might have to refresh the supply.
And there's a series of emails between the two of you where you're saying, if you'd like to arrange the wrapped and the unwrapped together for one shot, that's fine. Otherwise, we would have to place 2 pictures in for each description in the brochure. Which do you think is better? And it's like, okay, you're back and forth. And also, could you do an individual group shots? When you're done with the individual shots, could you do a group shot of everything? And one group shot of all the shelf-stable items, wrapped and unwrapped. Like, you're talking, you're communicating.
Yes.
And I guess I should do a group shot first while they are wrapped before unwrapping. Shelf-stable, question mark. Which are those? Question mark. And your answer is shelf-stable is anything that doesn't need refrigeration, not the key lime pie, cheesecake, UIE, or brownie. I thought the group shot should be wrapped. It sounds like, like the man doesn't know what shelf-stable is. Okay, do you want me to bring over new key lime pies now? You're perfectly fine with that. I was looking at the cheesecake again. How about standing up the box? I didn't get to read your last message. I had to go. Now it's December 23rd. It looks like I will have to bring you fresh goods. They don't keep their look when they're thawed or refrozen. Did you freeze or refrigerate the chocolate-covered cookies? Then he says to you, because there's a lot of emails about your concerns about different things. He says, I wasn't aware we had a time concern to photograph the items, so we'll have to get the setup ready, and then maybe you can come by the studio, spend a little time with me while I shoot, so you can tell him what you want. And then you say on December 23rd, I'm wondering if I should find someone who's used to working with food. You say that to Bob. Now, are you used to working with food? She sends that to Bob, your mutual acquaintance. Are you used to working with food? I was just curious.
I photographed food before. I photographed restaurants. I photographed hotels.
Yeah, but food, actual food.
Yes, I did.
And then on Christmas Eve, you say, I don't think this is working out. I would like to get my plates and my money. Why couldn't you wait until after Christmas Eve? Enjoy the desserts over the holiday.
That's why.
When did she first ask you for her money back?
That email, she said, I never talked to her. She said, I want
my money back, this isn't working out.
Yeah.
Did she say why? Did she say that?
She didn't. And when I spoke to Bob early January, I said I was having issue with her friend, her client. She was their client first. And he introduced me to her to help her out because she's a new up-and-coming business.
So what's the problem? Can I just ask you, what is your problem with his service? You know, he took photographs. He was willing to take other photographs. He was giving you a discounted price. You said to me, but Judge, look, he didn't refrigerate him, and that's the problem because, look, the crust is separating. Except for that, I see an email from you on the 22nd. You have absolutely no problem bringing him a different pie.
Right.
And so what is the problem?
So should the photographer know that you have to refrigerate cheesecake, or is it the bakery person's responsibility to say?
It's the bakery's person.
Really?
He doesn't know what to do in a bakery. He's just a photographer.
Is it common sense to know you refrigerate cheesecake?
He should know, but I think the baker should still tell him all the instructions.
Fair enough, but is it common sense to know you refrigerate cheesecake?
I think it is, but it's not his job to be a baker, so the baker should have been there to supervise.
All right, fair enough. We are going inside the courtroom.
He called them preliminary shots just to get advice from me.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the actual product.
Right.
That I had wanted. And then I asked Bob, our mutual acquaintance, to look at the photos. I said, do you think I should find somebody else? Maybe he hasn't done food before. And his response was, perhaps. I'm sorry I set you up to fail.
Right.
And so I felt like, well, he's worked with Pietro. And
why does Pietro have to give you his money back? Let me explain to you what a contract is. Contract is you agree to do something, and that side agrees to do something that each of you want the other one to do. You agree to pay $300, he agrees to photograph. Unless he doesn't do his job, then I don't see how you get the right to rip up the contract. I'm not going to help you do that. When you say to me, well, he didn't refrigerate the items, okay? I think it's common sense that dairy needs to be refrigerated or frozen or whatever else. But I see numerous emails and I don't see you giving instructions. But I also don't think it matters. That's a red herring here. It doesn't matter because I see your emails to him before you decide to switch. And you didn't end up hiring somebody else. You did them yourself. But I see your email to him. You say, you know what, I'm going to bring you fresh pies. It's just not that big a deal. So I just think you changed your mind about whether you wanted him to be the guy who photographed your stuff. And that's fine. You can do that. But sometimes it costs us when we make that choice and not the other guy. What did the guy do wrong? He was ready, willing, and able to take the photographs you wanted. You just never met with him again or gave him an opportunity or brought the fresher pies to be able to do that. My verdict in this case is for the defendant, not in the amount you're not in the amount you're counterclaiming for, because you never had a contract for $450. I don't care that that's what you're worth. That's not your contract. Okay. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Okay. So if I tell her you're stuck with your contract, you also are stuck with your contract. And no, I'm not going to pretend that the food stuff was barter for part of the $300, because your testimony at the opening of this trial was that it was $300 plus he kept to keep the food. I don't think he's keeping the food. Don't eat it, because you didn't refrigerate it and you didn't freeze it. And it's not okay. So, but he is entitled to $300 because you are the one who breached the contract. It's your business. If you don't like it, change your mind, but that doesn't mean he returns your money. So my verdict in this case is for the defendant for the additional $150 that he's due. That's my verdict, and in your lawsuit against him, 0, because you're the one breaching, not him. It's very clear from the emails you handed me. You just kind of changed your mind about bringing him a fresh pie. And by the way, it's very hard to tell the difference between your pictures and his. Verdict for the defendant.
So the defendant prevails in this case. Ms. Graves, the plaintiff, is coming out of the courtroom. You were really trying to say something to the judge right at the end of the case. What'd you want to tell her?
Oh, I didn't say enough. He went to Italy after that, and he was gone, and he wasn't answering any phone calls.
Do you think that would have made any difference in the outcome of the trial?
Well, I couldn't get a hold of him, and he was gone.
What about the pictures? Can you use them?
No.
No?
The pictures he took? No.
Yeah.
I've already had the brochure made. It's off to where it needed to be.
Well, thank you very much. Sorry.
Hi,
That's
Mom.
the way it works. Okay. Hi, Mom. There you go. Hello, Mom. All right, Mr. Carmadella, how do you feel about the outcome of this?
It was positive.
You all right?
It was right.
Good.
There was definitely miscommunication at the beginning with the plaintiff.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
You must sign some documents.
Thank you.
Harvey, what do you think?
Doug, I got to say real quick, it is the bakery person's responsibility to tell this guy, even if it's common sense, at a point you do have to manage what you're shooting, and that should have been the baker. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Get into your body's vitals with the Vitals app on Apple Watch.
I wanna get into my body and then my skin do the talking. I wanna feel like I'm myself again.
The Vitals app tracks key overnight metrics so you can spot changes in your health before you feel them. The Vitals app on Apple Watch. iPhone XS or later required. The Vitals app is for wellness purposes only and not for medical use.
I wanna get into my body.
This is the plaintiff, Kunjan Patel. He says his employee was hired by the defendant to DJ a huge party, and when he was paid, the check bounced. He doesn't understand why the defendant doesn't have the money to pay, because he had the money to have a live lion at the party, and if you can afford a live lion, you can afford to pay for DJing the event. He's suing for $750, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Darnell Smith. He says the plaintiff was paid by check and the check was cashed. He has no idea why he's being sued today, because he should be the one suing the plaintiff because his services were horrible and he would never hire him again. Bottom line, this lawsuit has no merit because his bank says the plaintiff was paid. He's accused of making a DJ roar.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff's employee was hired by the defendant to MC a big party and stiff the guy. But the defendant says the plaintiff got paid by cash and the guy cashed the check. And the DJ sucked. It's the case of turning the turntable.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Kunjan Patel and Kunjan Collective LLC is suing Darnell Smith and Creative Lifestyle Productions for $750, the cost that you were promised for MC services that you were never paid for. Tell me what happened.
Okay. Jay Hype, one of our MC hosts that works with us, got
Jay Hype?
Jay Hype.
Jay Hype.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay Hype.
Does Jay Hype have a real name?
Yes.
What is it?
Jonathan
Are you okay telling us?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Jonathan.
It's based out of my name, Jonathan Hippolyte.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just call him J-Hype.
Yeah.
Darnell.
He's one of the DJs that you manage.
He's our MC.
He's an MC.
Yeah, he's the MC host.
Okay. Is he also a DJ or no?
No, I'm the DJ.
You're the DJ. All right.
Yep.
And all right. So go on.
Okay, so J-Hype here had actually talked to Darnell. Darnell wanted to hire him to do a birthday party.
For who?
For Darnell.
But was it Darnell's birthday? Or was it you were throwing a birthday party for somebody?
It was my birthday.
Oh, it was your birthday. Okay, go ahead.
So we have Cordia who works with us and started a dialogue with Darnell to talk about services, what services that we have to offer, to hire J-Hype to do MC services for
Okay, because
Darnell.
J-Hype referred him to his manager.
Right, exactly.
Okay, got it. Go ahead.
And then started to dialogue with Darnell, saying like, hey, we're gonna, this is a large party, we'd like to get you involved in it, over 200 people, there's gonna be a lion there, hoverboards.
A lion?
A lion, tiger, or whatever.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, this sounds kind of an interesting party that we can get involved with. I didn't feel good about it, nor did Cordy. She didn't feel good about it when we started to talk to him. He wanted a DJ and an MC, and I said, I can DJ for you. And he couldn't afford the DJ at the time, saying, look, you know what, let me just get the MC. Got the MCs. Cordia sent out the performance agreement. That's Cordia over here.
Okay. And so you go to the party that night, Mr. J-Hype, and what happened?
Well, I go to the party at this penthouse. I see two dancers, organizations, two dance companies. They're rehearsing. I do see 20 hoverboards and no lion. I then...
Mercifully.
Thank God on my end. I was upstairs at the penthouse, kind of a bird's eye view on trying to find Darnell, to which I got a wave saying MC, MC, and seeing Darnell in full drag attire, talking about long hair, heels, flare. And,
That's his thing, that's his thing.
That's his thing. I love it. I'm all for it.
Okay.
And I wanted to just cater to the party, being that the theme is such as, Lady Gaga, Madonna, Cher, Liza Minnelli, the list goes on. I then turned into the DJ.
How did you turn into the DJ, though?
Well, there wasn't a DJ at
What happened to the DJ? What happened to the DJ?
The DJ that I had got sick at the last minute, so I had my friend that was there. She was basically running the party for me while I was getting my hair and stuff done. From what I got from the whole situation was he came in, J-Hype came in and was looking around for me, like he said, and I wasn't able to be found.
Wait, who was your DJ then? Who was going to be the DJ for this party?
My friend. She was going to plug up her phone, but since she talked to J-Hype already, so they already came to an agreement of who's going to do what. So when I came out to the party, I was confused for a little bit, like, who's doing what? Because she's MCing, he's DJing, so the flip-flop vice versa.
What the friend said to you, we have no DJ, will you DJ and I'll just MC?
Basically, because she was the party coordinator, because there wasn't really an itinerary at all. I actually called Darnell prior to the event just to give him a heads up.
But you're at your party.
Yes, I was upstairs.
And so if he's not talking and your friend's on the microphone and you didn't like it, why didn't you tell your friend stop talking, hand him the microphone? I don't understand.
I did that.
Because that's your complaint. You're saying, well, he didn't MC. That's why I don't have to pay him.
That makes a good DJ.
DJ has to be able to keep the audience happy and motivated, and
Fair enough, but is it their personality? Is it what they play? What is it?
I think it's their personality, just to keep everyone dancing, moving. That makes a good.
What about the music? Anybody?
You got to keep the flow going between songs, so you have some climaxes somewhere and some low points otherwise.
Okay. I don't think we got the answer to that. Going inside the courtroom.
I came to her and I told her that he's here for a job. His job is to MC, and you do your job, which is to plug your phone into the mixer, and you do what you do, whatever you do. She goes, no, I'm going to tell him that he needs to DJ and not MC, which
and then
never
you
get
said
across.
what?
Then I said, okay, fine.
Oh,
go ahead.
okay, fine. All right. Why are you paying these people?
I paid him for one thing, which was for him to come down and MC my party.
And then he ended up DJing on top of it.
Please.
I'm sorry.
I so do not need your help. Are you kidding me?
Now.
Okay, so you have the, by the way, how'd the party go?
Party was wonderful.
Do you have pictures?
Yes, I do.
Let me see. Were there 200 people?
No. They didn't all come.
End up being what?
They end up not coming, like, got laid in.
Right. So how many people were there?
About most like 15.
More like 15?
15, 20, the most.
Really?
That includes the bartender, the waiters, and the dancers. No lion.
I'm glad the lion didn't go.
That's true. That's probably the best thing.
And I also have evidence of a friend calling me saying how horrible and disrespectful he was to them at this party.
Listen.
Your Honor, can I?
No, you cannot.
I apologize.
It's not necessary, my dear. Listen to me. They have a contract. It says $750. In fact, you wrote a $750 check, right?
I didn't.
And it
write.
bounced.
And it bounced.
So you know they didn't get paid, right?
What job is that? That come down and DJ? What I told you to
No,
MC?
here's the job that they come down. They come down ready to MC, which is what you asked for, right? Now, when they get there, your representative, your friend, tells them, you know what? We are nailed. We don't even have a DJ. Can you DJ and I'll get on the microphone? Okay? And then if you want to say, well, he shouldn't have been listening to my friend, you know, you might have a point. Then I'd have to get into whether it looked like the friend was the representative, didn't look like the friend was the representative. But here's the thing that makes it different. You're at your own party. So you hear who's talking. So if you really didn't want him to DJ and you wanted her to DJ and him to MC, fix it. But you didn't because there wasn't a problem with it. And then you even say, well, I walked up and I hollered at my friend and she said, no, this is just going to be doing it. I said, okay, well, then it's okay. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. $750 verdict for the plaintiffs.
So the plaintiff prevails. The defendant's just come out of the courtroom. You're going to have to pay.
Pay is pay.
What about the lion? Where'd that come out of?
The lion was coming, but when they got there, they couldn't come in the building because of the insurance situation.
Hey, what was the lion going to do?
Just display.
Okay, crazy. All right, thank you very much. Well, now here comes the plaintiff on his way out again. You know, it's a whole shame you had to come here. You could have shown him the bounce check. Maybe he would have paid. Maybe
He wasn't going to do anything.
He wasn't going to do anything.
All we wanted to do was see the lion.
Okay. When you MC, what do you do?
Everything. I learned from Andy Kaufman, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, and Robin Williams. I try to incorporate
You like a lot of comedy?
A lot of comedy, a lot of stand-up, a lot of improv, and also catering to the person and the theme of the party. Again, hadn't I known before, Bay would have been drinking lemonade with us.
Okay, very good. Sounds like you do a good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Boy, you brought a lot of litigants with you here. A lot of witnesses, rather. Okay, Harvey, what do you think?
Okay, Doug, you know, really it seems like the defendant's trying to get over on the plaintiff. The plaintiff actually stepped in, did the job, and saved the plaintiff. So in this case, there ain't no doubt that the plaintiff deserved to get paid.